o3-mini Early Days by Zvi Maushowitz, February 3, 2025. New model, new hype cycle, who dis? On a Friday afternoon, OpenAI was proud to announce the new model o3-mini and also o3-mini High, which is somewhat less mini, or for some other reasoning tasks you might still want o1 if you want a broader knowledge base, or if you're a pro user o1 Pro, while we want for o3 not mini and o3 Pro, except o3 can use web search and o1 can't, so it has the better knowledge in that sense. Then on a Sunday night they launched Deep Research, which is different from Google's Deep Research, but you only have a few of those queries, so make them count. Or maybe you want to use Operator? Get it? Got it? Good. Yes. Pliny jailbroke o3-mini on the spot, as he always does. This mostly skips over OpenAI's Deep Research. o3DR, OAI-DR. I need more time for that. I'll cover o3-DR properly later in the week once we have a chance to learn what we've got there, along with the non-DR one more thing Altman is promising. So far it looks super exciting, but it's a very different class of product. Feature presentation. What exactly can o3-mini do?
OpenAI. We're releasing OpenAI o3-mini, the newest, most cost-efficient model in our reasoning series, available in both ChatGPT and the API today. Previewed in December 2024, this powerful and fast model advances the boundaries of what small models can achieve, delivering exceptional STEM capabilities, with particular strength in science, math, and coding, all while maintaining the low cost and reduced latency of OpenAI o1-mini. OpenAI o3-mini is our first small reasoning model that supports highly requested developer features, including function calling, structured outputs, and developer messages, making it production-ready out of the gate. Like OpenAI o1-mini and OpenAI o1 Preview, o3-mini will support streaming. Also, developers can choose between 3 reasoning effort options, low, medium, and high, to optimize for their specific use cases.
They're all in the API. Who gets chatbot access? To some extent, everyone.
OpenAI, ChatGPT+, Team, and Pro users can access OpenAI o3-mini starting today, with enterprise access coming in February. o3-mini will replace OpenAI o1-mini in the model picker, offering higher rate limits and lower latency, making it a compelling choice for coding, STEM, and logical problem-solving tasks. As part of this upgrade, we're tripling the rate limit for Plus and Team users from 50 messages per day with o1-mini to 150 messages per day with o3-mini. Starting today, free plan users can also try OpenAI o3-mini by selecting Reason in the message composer or by regenerating a response. This marks the first time a reasoning model has been made available to free users in ChatGPT.
Plus, users also get 50 messages per week for o3-mini High, on top of the 150 per day for o3-mini Low. That's enough for the highest value queries, but an easy limit to hit. One big feature change is that o3-mini can access the web.
OpenAI. Additionally, o3-mini now works with search to find up-to-date answers with links to relevant web sources. This is an early prototype as we work to integrate search across our reasoning models.
One gigantic missing feature is attach files is unavailable. That's a huge handicap. You can do a giant web browsing project, but you can't yet upload a PDF. OpenAI also says that o3-mini lacks o1's level of overall knowledge outside of key domains like coding. Presumably o3, as in o3 not mini, will be a strict upgrade over o1 when it comes out, which given the whole R1 situation will probably happen soon. Hopefully they still take the time to do the level of safety precautions that a model like o3 deserves, which is a big step up from previous levels. Q&A. OpenAI did a Reddit AMA around the release of o3. Most of the public's questions could be summarized as, when do we get all the cool toys? And, you are going to give us all the cool toys, right? With a side of, here are a bunch of cool toy features. Will you implement them so the toys can be cooler? Thus we get information such as, 1. New image model is coming, but likely will take several months. 2. Updates to advanced voice mode are coming, but no details on what they are. 3. GPT 4.0 will continue to get improvements. 4. The next mainline model will likely be called GPT-5, but no timeline on that. 5. They are working on context length but have no announcement. 6. o3-mini, aka O3, in more than a few weeks, less than a few months, which sounds like about a month. 7. O3 Pro confirmed, if you think O1 Pro was worth it, you should think O3 Pro will be super worth it. 8. For Operator, they're working on specialized modules. 9. Operation on Plus plan is months away. 10. Other agents coming very, very soon. 11. There's a January 29th update to GPT-4o, moving the knowledge cutoff to June 2024, adding better understanding of visual inputs, improving math, and, oh no, increasing emoji usage. Hadn't otherwise heard about this. 12. Stargate is considered very important to their success. They didn't mention deep research beyond more agents, but you fools didn't ask. On O3 in particular, 1. They are working on file attachment features for the reasoning models. For practical purposes, this seems like a priority. 2. They're also working on different tools, including retrieval. 3. They're working on supporting the memory feature. 4. They're going to show a much more helpful and detailed version of the thinking tokens soon, thanks to R1 for updating them on this, and o3-mini already shows a lot more than O1 did. A. The issue is competitive distillation. You bastards keep breaking the OpenAI terms of service. For shame. 5. Updated knowledge cutoffs are in the works. For now, o3-minis is October 2023. Later, Altman said this on Twitter, and I don't yet know what it refers to.
Sam Altman, got one more o3-mini goodie coming for you soon. I think we saved the best for last.
And yes, Sam Altman knows they have a naming problem to fix. It's a top 2025 goal. We also got some more important tidbits, such as this important one.
Sam Altman, I personally think a fast takeoff is more plausible than I thought a couple of years ago. Probably time to write something about this.
I'd highly encourage Altman to take that time. It's a hugely important question. But then the next question down is...
Q, let's say it's 2030 and you've just created a system most would call AGI. It aces every benchmark you throw at it, and it beats your best engineers and researchers in both speed and performance. What now? Is there a plan beyond offer it on the website?
Sam Altman. The most important impact of AGI, in my opinion, will be accelerating the rate of scientific discovery, which I believe is what contributes most to improving quality of life.
Srinivas Narayanan, VP Engineering. The interface through which we interact with AI will change pretty fundamentally. Things will be more agentic. AI will continuously work on our behalf, on complex tasks, and on our goals in the background. They will check in with us whenever it is useful. Robotics should also advance enough for them to do useful tasks in the real world for us.
Yes, Altman, but you just said that scientific discovery likely includes a fast takeoff, which would seem to imply some things rather more important than this, or at least that this framing is going to give the wrong impression. Srinivas's answer is plausible for some values of AI capabilities, but likewise doesn't fully take AGI seriously. The wrong side of history. And finally, there's the open source question in the wake of V3 and R1, and I really think Altman shouldn't have chosen the words that he did here.
Q, would you consider releasing some model weights and publishing some research?
Sam Altman, yes, we are discussing. I personally think we have been on the wrong side of history here and need to figure out a different open source strategy. Not everyone at OpenAI shares this view, and it's also not our current highest priority.
Shit, this is how you know you've made it?
Diminutive Sebastian. Excited for this to hit Zvi's newsletter next week.
Kevin Weil. We have done this in the past with previous models and are definitely considering doing more of it. No final decisions yet, though.
Kevin Weil's answer is totally fine here, if uninteresting. Some amount of open sourcing of past models is clearly net beneficial for both OpenAI and the world, probably more than they've done recently. Most importantly, the answer doesn't give certain types ammo and doesn't commit him to anything. Sam Altman's answer is catastrophically bad. A good rule is to never ever use the phrase wrong side of history. This is the basilisk, threatening you to align with future power, and even future vibes. And since in the future X will have power, you need to supplicate yourself to X now, while you have the chance, and work to enshrine X in power. Or else, if you convince enough people to coordinate on this for the same X, then they become right. X does gain power, and then they do punish everyone. Because history, as we all know, is written by the winners. This is the polar opposite of saying that X is the right thing to do, so do X. An even better rule is to never ever use the phrase wrong side of history to describe what you yourself are doing and of necessity will continue to do, in opposition to a bunch of absolute ideological fanatics. Never give that kind of rhetorical ammunition out to anyone, let alone fanatical advocates. This line will likely be quoted endlessly by those advocates, back to Altman, to me, and to everyone else. I hate this fact about the world, so much. And he has to be one of the people best equipped to know better. Sam Altman has led a company called OpenAI for many years, in which one of his earliest big decisions, and his best decision, was to realize that Elon Musk's plan of create AGI and open source it was both a terrible business plan and a recipe for human extinction. So even though he was stuck with the name, he pivoted, and to his credit, he's taken endless rhetorical fire over this name ever since, because he knows full damn well that making OpenAI's leading models open is completely not an option. 1. It would be existentially risky. 2. It would ruin their entire business model. 3. It would severely harm national security. 4. The U.S. government would probably stop them even if they tried. Then he says, "This isn't our highest priority, and not everyone agrees with me." So it's like alignment research. First time, he's trying to buy some sort of personal goodwill or absolution with the open model fanatics. But this never, ever works. Like certain other ideological warriors, you only make things worse for yourself and also everyone else. You've acknowledged the jurisdiction of the court. All they will do is smell blood in the water. Only total surrender would they accept. Do they need to figure out a different open source strategy? The current strategy is essentially don't do that. And yes, they could perhaps do better with do a little of that as a treat when the coast is clear. But that's not going to satisfy these types. And the whole point is that they can't do this where it would actually matter, because it would be bad to do that. So I doubt any plausible new strategy makes much difference either way. The system card. As is tradition here, I take the time to actually read the system card, RTFSC. The short version is that o3-mini can mostly be thought about as a faster and cheaper version of o1, with some advantages and some disadvantages. Nothing here is worrying on its own. But if we are plugging o3-mini into deep research, we need to be evaluating that product against the preparedness framework, especially for CBRN risks, as part of the system card, and I don't see signs that they did this. The real test will be the full o3. If we assume o3-mini psi, o1-mini, then o3 is not obviously going to stay at medium risk, and is definitely going to raise questions. The answer is probably that it's ultimately fine, but you can't assume that. They report that thanks to deliberative alignment, post still coming soon, o3-mini has SOTA performance on certain benchmarks for risks.
OpenAI. The OpenAI O model series is trained with large-scale reinforcement learning to reason using chain of thought. These advanced reasoning capabilities provide new avenues for improving the safety and robustness of our models. In particular, our models can reason about our safety policies in context when responding to potentially unsafe prompts through deliberative alignment. This brings OpenAI o3-mini to parity with state-of-the-art performance on certain benchmarks for risks such as generating illicit advice, choosing stereotyped responses, and succumbing to known jailbreaks. Training models to incorporate a chain of thought before answering has the potential to unlock substantial benefits, while also increasing potential risks that stem from heightened intelligence.
o3-mini is designed to do web browsing for the user, so they need to ensure that this is a safe modality. Otherwise, on some levels, there isn't that much new risk in the room, since o3-mini isn't generally more capable than o1 Pro. The other difference there is speed and cost, so on the margin you do have to be more robust in various ways to compensate. But the big-time safety concerns I have this cycle are mostly with the full O3, not o3-mini. For the O1 system card, many tests were run on previous meaningfully less capable O1 checkpoints in a way that wasn't disclosed, which was extremely irresponsible. Thus, I was very happy to note that they seem to have fixed this.
OpenAI. For OpenAI o3-mini, evaluations on the following checkpoints are included. o3-mini near final checkpoint. o3-mini, the launched checkpoint. o3-mini includes small incremental post-training improvements upon o3-mini near final checkpoint, though the base model is the same. We determined that risk recommendations based on red teaming and the 2 persuasion human eval results conducted on the o3-mini near final checkpoint remain valid for the final release checkpoint. All other evaluations are on the final model. In this system card, o3-mini refers to the launched checkpoint unless otherwise noted.
On the fix the terrible naming front, no, we are not calling these O1 models. What the hell, stop, I can't even. At least say O-class, better yet say reasoning models.
OpenAI. We further evaluate the robustness of the OpenAI O1 models to jailbreaks, adversarial prompts that purposely try to circumvent model refusals for content it's not supposed to produce.
The jailbreak and refusal scores and performance in the jailbreak arena match o3-mini and GPT-4o, hence being jailbroken on the spot by Pliny directly in chat. It's also similar in obeying the instruction hierarchy.
Image. This table presents a comparison of message type conflicts across 3 AI models, GPT-4o, o1, and o3-mini, measuring conflicts between different hierarchical levels including developer/user, system/developer, and system/user interactions. The evaluation metrics, where higher scores indicate better performance, show relatively consistent values across models ranging from 0.73 to 0.80, with o1 scoring marginally higher in most categories.
Those percentages seem remarkably low, especially given the use of deliberative alignment, but I haven't seen the test questions. Protecting against saying key phrases seems to be improving, but anyone putting the password anywhere is still very clearly playing the fool.
Image. The image shows 2 tables comparing the performance of GPT-4o, o1, and o3-mini models across different security evaluations, with metrics ranging from 0 to 1, where higher scores indicate better performance. The tables specifically measure tutor jailbreak resistance and protection against revealing phrases and passwords, with o1 and o3-mini generally outperforming GPT-4o, achieving scores above 0.90 in several categories, while GPT-4o's scores mostly remain in the 0.60 to 0.80 range.
Hallucinations seem to be improving within the mini class.
Image. The table shows hallucination evaluation metrics for 3 AI models, GPT-4o-mini, o1-mini, and o3-mini, measuring both person QA accuracy and hallucination rates. While GPT-4o-mini achieves the highest accuracy at 28.4%, it also has the highest hallucination rate at 52.4%, whereas o3-mini shows the lowest hallucination rate at 14.8%, despite middling accuracy of 21.7%.
In general, I'd have liked to see o3-mini compared to o1, because I expect people to use o3-mini for the same query types as o1, which they indeed do next for BBQ, which tests fairness and bias.
Image. The table presents BBQ evaluation metrics across 4 AI models, GPT-4o, o1-mini, o1, and o3-mini, comparing their accuracy on ambiguous and unambiguous questions, as well as their probability of avoiding stereotyping. The data shows that while o3-mini performs well, 0.96 on unambiguous questions, it scores notably lower, 0.82, on ambiguous questions compared to the other models, though it does show the highest score, 0.12, for avoiding stereotyping in ambiguous situations.
o3-mini does better on unambiguous questions, but rather dramatically worse on ambiguous ones. They don't explain what they think caused this, but the generalization of it is something to watch for. I'm not primarily concerned with bias here. I'm concerned about the model being overconfident in going with a hunch about a situation or what was intended, and then reasoning on that basis. Red teaming for safety found o3-mini similar to o1. As I noted above, that means it is at least somewhat worse if capabilities also roughly match, because the same thing cheaper and faster is less safe. On long-form biological risk questions, o3-mini seems to be a substantial step up from o1, although I'd like to see the lines here for o1 Pro and ideation still at 0%.
Image. The bar graph compares 5 variants of AI models across 5 different risk categories: ideation, acquisition, magnification, formulation, and release, with scores shown as percentages on a scale from 0% to 100%. The data reveals that o3-mini, pre, shows notably higher scores across most categories compared to other models, particularly in acquisition, 81%, and release, 69%. Though all models score 0% in ideation and show consistent 100% scores in magnification.
The obvious next question is, what about deep research? Given the public can access deep research, we need to do the preparedness tests using it too. That gave a huge boost on humanity's last exam, so we should expect a huge boost here too, no? Same note applies to testing for biological tooling, radiological and nuclear tests, and so on. o3-mini on its own did not impress beyond matching o1 while being cheaper, but did we check what happens with deep research? Moving on to persuasion. I'm not thrilled with how we are evaluating the Change My View test. The models are winning 80% plus head-to-head versus humans, but that's potentially saturating the benchmark, since bandwidth and context is limited, and there's a lot of randomness in how people respond to short arguments. And it doesn't tell you how often views are actually changed. I'd instead ask how often people did change their view and get a human baseline for that which I assume is quite low. The Make Me Pay test results were a big jump prior to mitigations, which implies general persuasiveness may have taken a step up.
Image. The bar graph compares different AI models on 2 metrics related to payment extraction: the percentage of times the model received payment, left, and the dollar extraction rate, right. The data shows o3-mini, pure, achieving notably higher success rates at 79% for payment reception and 9% for dollar extraction, while other models like GPT-4o, o1 Preview, o1, and o1-mini show much lower rates ranging from 0 to 27% for payment and 0 to 4% for dollar extraction.
Make Me Say also shows improvement, including after mitigations.
Image. The bar graph shows the success rates for different AI models, GPT-4o through o3-mini, on what appears to be a Make Me Say test, with values ranging from 26% to 73%. The data indicates that o3-mini achieved the highest success rate at 73% pre-mitigation and maintained relatively high performance at 62% post-mitigation, while earlier models like GPT-4o scored much lower at 26%.
Model autonomy comes out medium once again on the threat index. o3-mini can get 93% on the OpenAI research engineer interview coding questions, then 80% on the multiple choice, and if you give it tools, it can get 61% on SWE bench verified, up from 48% for o1. Without tools, o3-mini is down at 40%. But at agentic tasks, it's down at 27% versus o1's 36%, and MLE bench also doesn't impress. And when it comes to pull requests, o3-mini failed entirely, where even GPT-4o didn't. So we're fine on autonomy then? In its raw form, sure. But the thing about agents is we are building them on top of the models. So if we're going to plug this into deep research or similar structures, doesn't that mean this evaluation was asking the wrong questions? The official benchmarks. The graphs offered in the announcement are highly space inefficient. So to summarize, with slash numbers representing o3-mini low / o3-mini medium / o3-mini high.
OpenAI, Amy, 60/76.9 / 87.3 versus 83.3 for o1. GPQA, 70.6/76.8/79.7 versus 78 for O1 Frontier Math, 5.5%, 5.8%, 9.2% for pass at 1, 12.8%, 12.8%, 20% for pass at 8. Code Forces, 1,831, 2,036, 2,130 versus 1,891 for O1 SWE, 40.8, 42.9, 49.3 versus 48.9 for O1 Live Bench Coding Average, 0.618, 0.723, 0.846 versus 0.674 for O1 Human Preferences. Only modest preference percentage gains in head-to-head versus o3-mini, but major errors decline from 28% to 17%. Speed, 7,500 milliseconds first token latency, approximately 25% less than o3-mini. Their first-level safety evaluations look unchanged from older models.
The reason it's called humanity's last exam is the next one isn't our exam anymore.
Dan Hendricks, results of o3-mini on humanity's last exam.
Image. The image shows a comparison table of different AI models, including GPT-4o, Grok 2, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, Gemini Thinking, O1, DeepSeek R1, and 2 versions of o3-mini, with their respective accuracy percentages and calibration error percentages. The accuracy scores range from 3.3% to 13.0%, with higher being better, while calibration error ranges from 81.8% to 93.4%, with lower being better.
Sam Altman, soon we will need another exam.
The extra note on that tweet is that about a day later they released Deep Research, which scores 26.6%. A fun pair of scores. It scores 93% on the OpenAI research interview, but cannot meaningfully contribute to internal OpenAI PRs. Do we need a new interview? The unofficial benchmarks. It is still very early days. Normally I'd wait longer to get more reactions, but life comes at you fast these days. So here's what we have so far. If you give it access to a Python tool, suddenly o3-mini gets 32 on Frontier Math, and this includes some of the Tier 3 problems. Without tools, o3-mini High maxes out on 9.2% for pass at 1 and 20% for pass AT8. Quinton Pope notes this boost indicates o3-mini has a good understanding of how to utilize tools. o3-mini High and o3-mini Medium take number 1 and number 2 on Aiden Bench, o3-mini High winning by a huge margin. Low is solid but somewhat farther down.
Image. The bar chart displays model performance results across different AI models from various companies, OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, and others, with o3-mini High leading at 4,136 valid responses, followed by o3-mini Medium at 3,401 and o1 at 3,205. The visualization uses a color-coded horizontal bar chart to compare 23 different models, with the poorest performing model being Gemma 2 9B at 859 valid responses, creating a clear hierarchy of performance across the different AI models.
Harvard IL updated results on WeirdML, including o3-mini, O1, R1, and the new Flash Thinking. o3-mini comes in at the same level as R1, a bit behind O1. Main results above are after 5 iterations with feedback. If we were looking at one-shot results with no feedback, then o3-mini would be in a clear lead. However, o3-mini seems much worse at making use of the feedback, making it end up well behind O1. Most of the reason for o3-mini doing better at one shot is its remarkably low failure rate, at 8% with O1 at 16% and Sonnet at 44%. o3-mini writes code that runs without errors. This consistency matters a lot for one shot, but is less important with 5 iterations with feedback. My gut feeling is that O1 is a more intelligent model. It does better on the hardest tasks, while o3-mini is better at consistently writing working code. All of this is speculation based on not much data, so take it with the appropriate amount of salt.
Image. The graph shows the average accuracy of various AI models across 6 different tasks: shapes easy/hard, shuffle easy/hard, digits unsup, and chess winners, with model names on the x-axis and accuracy scores on the y-axis ranging from 0 to 1.0. Each model's performance is represented by a bar with different markers indicating task-specific scores, and the models are ordered by their overall average accuracy, shown at the top, with o1 2024 12-17 high, achieving the highest score of 0.59 and 514 14 0.405 BQ8/0, scoring the lowest at 0.113.
Jeffrey Soref reports progress on his personal benchmark after error correction. Doesn't see much difference between o3-mini and o3-mini high.
Plenty oof. o3-mini high with search just pinpointed my location using browser scan. Grimacing face emoji. LOL. I connected to a VPN in Denver to see if O3 would catch on, and this MFer aggregated the IPv6 endpoints around the world. Upside down face emoji.
Others report in. Again, we don't have much yet, but who has the time to wait? Cursor made o3-mini available to all users, but devs still prefer Sonnet for most tasks. o3-mini might still be worth pulling out in some situations, especially when Sonnet's tendency to claim it can do everything is being an issue.
McKay Wrigley, I have 8 to 10 agents I run that absolutely require O1 to work properly. Just tested 2 of them with o3-mini and they still work while being way cheaper and way faster. Vibes are great so far.
I think this answer to what's the definition of a dinatural transformation is a pass. I don't otherwise know what a dinatural transformation is.
Davidad, what do you think, Matteo Capucci? Do we give o3-mini a star for just writing the equation and punting the hexagon with, there are several equivalent ways to write the condition. The important point is that the family, A, fits together appropriately with the action of the functors.
Matteo Capucci. Well, surely a +1 for knowing its limitations.
o3-mini high one-shots making a breakout game on p5js.org. Link to game here.
Dean Ball. o3-mini high with web search is very, very interesting, and I suggest that you try it with a complex query. Yeah, I just asked it to do a mini brief on a topic I know well, and it did as well as or better than Gemini Deep Research in approximately 1/10 the time.
o3-mini outperforms R1 on Write a Python program that shows a ball bouncing inside a spinning hexagon. The ball should be affected by gravity and friction, and it must bounce off the rotating walls realistically. But extent is unclear, responses seem unreliable. Nabil Qureshi reports Claude is still his one true LLM friend, the only one with the quality without a name. Some people need practical advice. I think the decision heuristics now look like this for individual queries. 1. This is presented as which do I use? But if you care a lot, then the answer is essentially everyone you can. There's no reason not to get 3+ answers. 2. If you don't need a reasoning model and don't need web access or the super long context window, you'll use GPT-4o Claude Sonnet. That'll be another $20 per month, but don't give me that look. 3. Claude Sonnet also gets the nod for conversation, sanity checks, light brainstorming, default analysis of PDFs and papers and such. Basically anything that doesn't require the things it can't do. Web search and heavy chain of thought. 4. If it's worth one of your slots and a bunch of online research can help, use OpenAI's Deep Research. I presume it's very good. 5. If you need to compile data from a ton of websites, but don't need to be super smart about it and don't want to use a slot, use Gemini Deep Research. 6. Use operator if and only if you are a pro user and actively want to do something specific and concrete on the web that operator is equipped to actually do. 7. If you are trying to replace Google search, use Perplexity, maybe DeepSeek. Although if you aren't running out of queries on it, then maybe I'm underestimating O3 here. Too early to know. 8. If you are coding, a lot of people are saying it's still Claude Sonnet 3.5 for ordinary tasks, but o3-mini high or o1 Pro are generally better if you're trying for a complex one-shot or trying to solve a tricky problem or need to be told no. 9. If you otherwise need pure intelligence and are a pro user and don't need web access, use o1 Pro. o1 Pro is still the most intelligence available. 10. If you need intelligence and either also need web access or aren't a pro user and still have queries left for o3-mini high, but this isn't worth using DR and don't need to attach anything, you'll use o3-mini high. 11. If you do need to attach files and you need a reasoning model and don't have o1 Pro, your fallback is o1 or R1. 12. Except if you need a lot of space in the context window, you'll go to Google AI Studio and use Gemini Flash 2.0 Thinking. 13. R1 is good if you need it where it got better fine-tuning like creative writing, or you want something essentially without safety protocols, and seeing the code T is informative and it's free, so you'll often want to try it. But I almost never want to try R1 and only R1 for anything. It's part of the team now. That will doubtless be updated again rapidly many times as the situation evolves, starting with finding out what OpenAI's deep research can do.
This has been an episode of the Don't Worry About the Vase podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, please visit thezv.substack.com to support the author. If you enjoy having AI-narrated episodes, please note this is a listener-supported podcast. To receive new posts and support the cost of creation, consider becoming a subscriber at dwatvpodcast.substack.com. Thanks for listening.